Robberies, ranging from daring heists to petty thefts, are alarmingly common. Chances are, you or someone close has been affected by this crime. While many robberies succeed, leading to not only loss of property but sometimes even loss of life, others falter spectacularly. Misjudgments and sloppy planning often lead to these blunders, turning would-be criminals into the butt of jokes. Join us as we delve into tales of botched robbery attempts where robbers were outsmarted, outmanned, or just plain unlucky. Number 16. Sleeping on the job. Eden M., a 21-year-old burglar from Bosnia, set out one day in 2022 to rob a home. He broke into the house, moving carefully through the rooms, and managed to find some jewelry. Everything seemed to be going according to plan for this young thief, until something unexpected happened. He got tired. Instead of making a quick escape, Eden decided to take a break. He spotted a comfy-looking couch in the living room and thought, why not? He settled down, intending to rest for just a moment. But before he knew it, his eyelids became heavy, and he dozed off right there, surrounded by the stolen goods. Little did he know that this nap would be his downfall. As fate would have it, the homeowner returned soon after. They were shocked to find Eden, not fleeing the scene, but sleeping soundly on their couch. Imagine the confusion and surprise of walking into your home to find a burglar, not rummaging through your belongings, but snoring away on your furniture. The homeowner quickly called the police, who arrived to find Eden still fast asleep. When the officers woke him up, he was sleepy and disoriented, probably wondering what had gone so wrong with his plan. It wasn't exactly the smooth getaway he had imagined. Instead of walking away with stolen loot, Eden M. was arrested on the spot and taken into custody. This bizarre and almost comedic incident serves as a reminder that crime doesn't pay, especially when sleep gets in the way. Eden's botched robbery attempt became the talk of the town, with locals shaking their heads in disbelief at the sheer absurdity of it all. Number 15. Reading over robbing. In a bizarre incident in Rome, a 38-year-old man was caught during a burglary after stopping mid-heist to read a book. The man had broken into an apartment in the Della Vittoria district at night and spotted a book about Greek mythology on a bedside table. Instead of continuing with his robbery, he got so engrossed in the book that he sat down to read it. Unfortunately for him, the 71-year-old homeowner woke up, found the intruder reading on his bed, and called the police. When the burglar realized he was caught, he attempted to escape through the same balcony he had entered from, but it was too late. The police were already on their way. The book that distracted him, Glide alle sei, l'Iliade all'ora dell'aperitivo by Giovanni Nucci, explores the Iliad from the perspective of the gods, making it an intriguing read, but probably not the best choice for a burglar. The police found the man in possession of designer clothes that were likely stolen from another home earlier that night. His distraction led to his swift arrest, turning what could have been a successful burglary into an embarrassing failure. The author of the book found it amusing that his work had captivated the burglar to the point of distraction. He even expressed a desire to meet the man who was caught mid-heist while reading. He stated that he would like to give him the book so he could finish it, as the burglar was likely interrupted right in the middle of a compelling part. Number 14. Elderly man teaches carjacker. A painful lesson. On a quiet morning in June 2024, a would-be carjacker named Blake Robinson got a lot more than he bargained for in Brevard County, Florida. Robinson, at 29 years old, thought he could easily overpower a 66-year-old man and steal his truck. But as it turns out, he was in for a rude awakening. The elderly man, whose name was not released by authorities, heard a noise outside his home and went to investigate. When he stepped outside, he found Robinson attempting to break into his truck. Not one to shy away from defending his property, the man initially went back inside to grab his phone and call the police. But rather than staying indoors, He returned outside to confront the would-be thief directly. What happened next is a story that quickly made headlines. Robinson, probably thinking that the older man would be an easy target, decided to attack. He struck the man in the head and even kicked him when he was down. But despite the assault, the 66-year-old refused to back down. Drawing on his determination and perhaps a lifetime of grit, he fought back fiercely, delivering a beating that Robinson surely didn't expect. By the time the police arrived, Robinson was the one left struggling on the ground. He had been thoroughly outmatched by a man nearly 40 years his senior. The police quickly took Robinson into custody, but not before he was treated at a local hospital for the injuries he sustained during the altercation. Robinson now faces serious charges, including battery of a person over the age of 65, which is classified as a felony in Florida. He also faces charges for attempted burglary of a conveyance. The Brevard County Sheriff's Office didn't hold back in their public statements, humorously noting that Robinson got his punk butt handed to him by the 66-year-old truck owner. They even ended their statement with a light-hearted warning: mess around and find out. Number 13. Starbucks robbery. Gone wrong. In July 2017, Ryan Flores walked into a Starbucks in Fresno, California, with a plan to rob the store. He was armed with a knife and a fake gun, thinking he could easily scare the employees and customers into handing over cash. But what he didn't anticipate was the presence of a brave customer who would turn the tables on him. Flores approached the counter, waving his weapons and demanding money. The situation was tense as the employees complied with his demands, handing over the cash. But then, something unexpected happened. Craig Jerry, a 58-year-old customer, decided to take action. He quietly observed the situation from his seat, then sprang into action. Grabbing a metal chair, Jerry struck Flores from behind, knocking him off balance. A struggle ensued between Flores and Jerry, and it quickly became clear that Jerry was not going to back down. Despite being stabbed multiple times by Flores during the altercation, Jerry managed to wrestle the knife away from him. Flores, now disarmed and injured, attempted to flee the scene, but not before being subdued by Jerry. The entire incident was captured on the store's surveillance cameras, and the footage quickly went viral. Jerry was hailed as a hero for his bravery and quick thinking, which likely prevented further harm to the other customers and employees. Flores was arrested and later charged with attempted robbery and assault with a deadly weapon. In court, he pleaded guilty and was sentenced to 4 years in prison. However, the story took an unexpected turn when Flores announced plans to sue Jerry for using excessive force during the incident. This move sparked a heated debate, with many siding with Jerry, who had risked his life to stop a dangerous criminal. Number 12. Marine's quick action saves the day. In October 2021, a quiet afternoon at a convenience store in Yuma, Arizona, turned into an unforgettable moment of bravery and quick thinking. Marine veteran James Kilser was on his way home from work when he decided to stop by the store. Little did he know, his military training would soon come in handy in the most unexpected way. As Kilser approached the counter to pay for his items, 3 masked men entered the store with clear intentions. One of them was armed with a handgun, which he pointed at the cashier, demanding money. It was a situation that could have gone terribly wrong, but Kilser, who had served in the United States Marine Corps, didn't hesitate for a second. His instincts took over, and within moments, he turned the tables on the would-be robbers. In a move that stunned everyone, Kilser lunged at the armed man, grabbing the gun and disarming him before the suspect could react. He then forced the man to the ground, holding him there while the other 2 suspects fled the scene in panic. Kilser's decisive action not only stopped the robbery in its tracks, but also prevented what could have been a violent encounter. He later said that his training had prepared him to react in situations just like this, where split-second decisions could mean the difference between life and death. The entire incident was captured on the store's surveillance cameras, and the footage quickly went viral, showing the world what true courage looks like. Kilker remained calm and composed throughout the ordeal, a testament to his years of service and the discipline instilled in him by the Marines. The local authorities praised Kilser for his bravery, and he was later honored with a Citizen's Valor Award by the Yuma County Sheriff's Office. What makes this story even more remarkable is Kilser's humility. In interviews following the incident, he downplayed his actions, saying he simply did what he was trained to do. He emphasized that anyone with the right training could have done the same, though many would argue that it takes a special kind of person to act so fearlessly under pressure. Number 11. Got to catch the bus. In January 2008, a robbery in Atlanta took an unexpected turn that would leave many scratching their heads. Channel Moni Gaskin, a 22-year-old woman, walked into a Wachovia bank in Sandy Springs around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. She didn't have a weapon, but she boldly handed over a note demanding money. The bank employees, fearing for their safety, complied and handed her a bag of cash. However, what Gaskin didn't anticipate was the bank's security measures. As she sprinted across the parking lot to a nearby Quiznos, a dye bomb hidden within the cash exploded. The burst of orange ink covered both her and the money, marking her as the robber. Gaskin, realizing her mistake, tried to salvage the situation. She ran to a nearby grocery store, stashed the dye-stained clothes and money in a bathroom, and quickly changed into a fresh outfit. But her plan to blend in didn't end there. Incredibly, she then made her way to a bus stop behind the grocery store, thinking she could escape using public transportation. A police officer, responding to the robbery report, spotted her at the bus stop and noticed she matched the description of the robber. It wasn't long before Gaskin was arrested, her brilliant plan foiled by the dye bomb and her unfortunate choice of getaway vehicle. Interestingly, Gaskin later admitted to the police that this wasn't her first time pulling off a robbery. Just days earlier, on January 15th, she had successfully robbed another Wachovia branch in DeKalb County and had also made her escape using a MARTA bus. However, this time, her luck ran out. Gaskin was taken to Fulton County Jail, where she faced charges for both robberies. Crime doesn't always pay, especially when your getaway vehicle is a city bus. Number 10. Caught in the chimney. In the mid-1980s, a small town in Mississippi experienced an eerie mystery that would take over 15 years to unravel. Calvin Wilson, a 27-year-old resident of Concordia Parish, went missing in 1985. His sudden disappearance left his family and friends bewildered. Little did anyone know, the answer to his vanishing was hidden in one of the most unusual places imaginable. Fast forward to January 2001. A local mason was working on renovations at the Riverboat Gift Shop in Natchez, Mississippi. As he started chiseling through the old chimney on the building's second floor, he made a shocking discovery. Stuck feet first in the narrow chimney was a human skeleton, still wearing cowboy boots. The discovery of this long-forgotten body sent chills through the community. Authorities quickly arrived on the scene. They carefully removed the remains and found more clues: a pair of blue jeans, a shirt, jewelry, and a wallet. The personal items, combined with DNA testing, soon confirmed what the Wilson family had feared for years. The remains were indeed those of Calvin Wilson, the man who had disappeared in 1985. Investigators believe that Wilson had attempted to break into the gift shop by climbing down the chimney. However, the narrow space became a death trap. About 15 feet into the descent, Wilson got stuck and couldn't climb back out. His tragic fate remained hidden for years, with his body just 10 feet above the chimney's damper. The story took another twist when it was revealed that, in 1987, a partial skeleton had been found in a different location and was incorrectly thought to be Wilson. This led to even more heartache for his family, who had believed for years that they had laid him to rest. Finally, in 2001, Wilson's remains were positively identified, providing some closure to his grieving family. Number 9. Clunky procedure. In September 2022, two would-be thieves in Benton, Arkansas, thought they had a foolproof plan. Their target? An ATM at the Alcoa Community Federal Credit Union. The plan seemed simple on paper. Yank the ATM out of its place, toss it in their pickup truck, and make a quick getaway. But what happened next was anything but smooth. The duo arrived under the cover of night, dressed in dark clothes and ready to pull off what they thought would be an easy heist. They had even brought along a sturdy pickup truck, believing its raw power would be enough to rip the ATM from the wall. Their first step was to secure the machine by tying it to the truck with a heavy-duty chain. With everything in place, they revved the engine and hit the gas. But as the truck lurched forward, the ATM didn't budge an inch. Undeterred, they decided to give it another go. After all, as the saying goes, if at first you don't succeed, try again. But just as they were about to make their second attempt, the plan started to fall apart. The brains of the operation suddenly had second thoughts. Maybe he realized how loud their efforts were, or maybe he simply panicked. Whatever the reason, he decided that this was a lost cause and bolted, leaving his partner behind. The driver, still clinging to the hope that the plan might work, wasn't ready to give up just yet. He gunned the engine again, this time dragging the entire ATM along with the truck. The noise of the ATM scratching against the floor was deafening. After driving for a while, the driver realized the plan was falling apart and decided to cut his losses. In the end, this clunky procedure ended with nothing but a lot of noise, and two would-be robbers who learned the hard way that not all plans are as easy as they seem. The police were left with the damaged ATM and a lot of questions, but the robbers were long gone by the time they arrived. Number 8. Tables turn for a masked armed robber. On a Monday night in October 2019, Corey T. Phillips, a 26-year-old from West Paducah, Kentucky, thought he had everything planned out. Wearing a mask, he walked into the Country Inn and Suites in Paducah, Kentucky, with a gun in hand, ready to make a quick getaway with the cash. But things didn't go as planned. As Phillips ordered the hotel employee to hand over the money, he made a critical mistake. He set his gun down on the counter. The employee, quick on her feet, saw her chance. As Phillips bent down to scoop up the money, the employee grabbed the gun. Startled, Phillips panicked and bolted out the door, but his night was far from over. Shockingly, he returned moments later, demanding his gun back. The employee, now in control, pointed the gun at him, sending him fleeing once more, this time for good. Phillips's escape didn't last long. The Paducah Police Department tracked him down the following day during a routine traffic stop. Inside his car, they found more evidence linking him to the robbery, including a stolen computer and a shirt that matched the one used in the robbery. Phillips was arrested and charged with first-degree robbery and possession of a stolen firearm. Number 7. Heroic Attendant Rescue. In a small convenience store in 2011, an ordinary day quickly turned into a scene straight out of an action movie. The store's attendant, a former Marine with years of military training under his belt, was quietly working when a would-be robber walked in. The man acted like any other customer at first, browsing the shelves, even pretending to look for something to buy. But the former Marine, with his sharp instincts, could tell something was off. The would-be robber approached the counter, and as he got closer, he revealed his true intentions. He pulled out a knife, hoping to intimidate the attendant into handing over the store's cash. But what the robber didn't know was that he had picked the wrong target. In a flash, the former Marine's years of training kicked in. With a swift and precise move, he knocked the knife out of the robber's hand before the man could even think about using it. The Marine didn't stop there. He quickly subdued the robber, bringing him down with a technique that only someone with extensive combat training could execute so flawlessly. The entire ordeal was over in mere seconds. The robber, who probably thought he could easily overpower a store attendant, was left stunned and helpless on the ground. The former Marine had not only protected himself, but had also ensured that the store and its customers were safe from harm. Number 6. fire in the hole. In a bizarre turn of events, a group of robbers in France managed to turn their planned heist into a complete disaster, all because of a getaway truck that became more of a liability than an escape tool. It happened in the town of Le Pontet, located in the southeastern region of France. The robbers targeted a bank, planning to use a truck as a battering ram to break through the bank's doors. Their approach seemed aggressive and straightforward. Slam the truck into the doors, grab the money, and flee the scene. But as with many heists that go terribly wrong, this one didn't go as planned. After ramming the truck into the bank, the robbers found themselves stuck. The doors didn't give way as easily as they had expected, and the truck became wedged, unable to move forward or backward. With the heist going downhill fast, the robbers had no choice but to abandon their original plan. However, before fleeing the scene, they decided to cover their tracks in the most extreme way possible. They set the truck on fire. The flaming wreckage of their getaway vehicle became a symbol of their failed attempt, attracting more attention than they ever anticipated. By the time the police arrived, the robbers were long gone, but they left behind a scene of destruction. Before we continue, here's today's subscriber's pick. Thieves often believe that once they've grabbed their target, they're in the clear. But sometimes, luck isn't on their side. Take this situation, for example. A guy stole someone's moped and thought he was home free, racing down the road with his stolen prize. But little did he know, a vigilant bystander had witnessed the whole scene unfold and decided to act. In a split second, this quick-thinking hero executed one of the most impressive takedowns you'll ever see. He threw an object at the thief with great force. The thief, completely blindsided, was thrown off balance, crashing to the ground in utter shock. Dazed and confused, he had no idea what had just hit him. With no other option, the would-be criminal scrambled to his feet and bolted, abandoning his ill-gotten moped in sheer panic. What would you do if you found yourself in a similar situation? Let us know in the comments section below. Number 5. Not so fast food. In suburban Miami, October 2007, what started as a simple fast food order turned into an absurd and unforgettable encounter. The scene unfolded at a drive-thru where an unidentified man pulled up, ready to place his order. The total? $7.41. But the customer had other ideas. He bluntly informed the cashier that he would only pay $1.75. Naturally, the cashier explained that this wasn't going to cut it. The man sped off, leaving the employees to assume the bizarre incident was over, but they were wrong. Moments later, the man returned, but this time, he was on foot and had a new plan. He boldly approached the drive-thru window, pulled it open, and brandished a gun at the stunned employees. But here's where it takes an even stranger turn. He opened the window, pulled a gun on employees, and tried unsuccessfully to retrieve his order. He instead settled on a fistful of ketchup packets. Yes, ketchup packets. Realizing the absurdity of his loot, he angrily tossed them to the ground before dashing back to his car and driving away empty-handed. The incident was as baffling as it was foolish. Number 4. Technical skill issue. In June 2020, an attempted robbery in Baton Rouge proved that having a plan is only half the battle. Two masked thieves set their sights on an ATM at a Capital One bank, fully prepared for a late-night heist. They arrived dressed in dark clothes, ready to stay hidden under the cover of night. Their goal was clear: crack open the ATM, grab the cash, and disappear before anyone noticed. To help them, they even brought along a Ford F-150, thinking it would give them the muscle they needed to pull off the job. At first, everything seemed to be going according to plan. They managed to get the outer casing of the ATM open, but that's where their night took a turn. Inside the ATM was a second layer of security, one they didn't expect. This inner barrier was designed to protect the cash, even if the outer casing was breached. The moment they saw this, panic set in. Their plan, which seemed so foolproof, was now unraveling right before their eyes. One of the thieves tried desperately to find a way around this new problem. He tugged, pulled, and tried to break through, but nothing worked. It was clear that they had reached a dead end. Realizing that there was no way to salvage the situation, they decided to abandon the attempt altogether. They fled the scene, leaving the ATM and their dreams of a big payday behind. The Baton Rouge police later released a statement asking the public for help in identifying the suspects. However, it remains unclear if they were ever caught. Number 3. Communication problem. Planning a robbery is one thing, but executing it without a hitch is an entirely different challenge, especially when your success depends on teamwork. In one particularly botched attempt, a lack of communication turned a simple heist into a complete fiasco, leaving one would-be thief stranded and embarrassed. It all began with a plan to rob a clothing store. The roles were clear. The woman would go inside, steal the clothes, and then make a quick getaway in the waiting car. Her partner's job was straightforward: stay in the car, be ready to drive, and make a fast escape once she returned. However, what was supposed to be a smooth operation quickly turned into a disaster due to a massive communication failure. After successfully grabbing the clothes, the woman rushed outside, heading straight for the getaway car. She reached the car, expecting to jump in and speed off to safety. But as she tried to open the door, the driver suddenly took off without her. Whether it was panic, fear of the police, or just a moment of pure confusion, the driver decided to leave her behind at the worst possible moment. Stunned and realizing she had been abandoned, the woman dropped the stolen clothes on the ground, hoping to make a run for it on foot. But running away with nothing but a failed robbery attempt behind her wasn't easy. The police, who were already on the scene, quickly spotted her and gave chase. Without a car to escape in, she didn't stand a chance. The officers caught up to her in no time and took her into custody. Number 2. Trapped in a store. A little over a year ago in West Yorkshire, a robbery attempt at a phone store went from bold to downright embarrassing. A thief walked into the store and casually picked up 2 devices worth around $2,000. Acting as if he was about to make a purchase, he suddenly made a dash for the exit, thinking he had the perfect plan. But the shopkeeper was one step ahead. Having dealt with trouble before, the shopkeeper had installed an automatic locking system on the door. As soon as the thief tried to escape, the door locked him inside. With nowhere to run, the would-be robber quickly realized his plan had failed miserably. But instead of calling the police, the shopkeeper did something unexpected. He chose to let the thief go after giving him a stern lecture about making better choices in life. Number 1. Millennium Dome Raid. In the year 2000, London was buzzing with excitement as the Millennium Dome was finally completed. This massive structure, which had been a source of both fascination and controversy, was home to numerous exhibits. Among them, the star attraction was the Millennium Star, a stunning 203-carat diamond valued at an eye-popping $250 million. But while the public marveled at the diamond's beauty, a group of criminals saw something else: an opportunity. This crew, a well-organized gang, meticulously planned what they believed would be the heist of the century. Their plan? To pull off an audacious smash-and-grab raid, armed and ready to flee by speedboat. On the morning of November 7th, 2000, the gang put their plan into motion. They stormed the Millennium Dome, smashing through security barriers with bulldozers. Armed to the teeth, they were ready for a quick in-and-out operation. The criminals headed straight for the diamond exhibit, their eyes set on the Millennium Star and other priceless gems. However, what they didn't know was that the Metropolitan Police had been one step ahead. The gang's activities had caught the attention of the police after a series of suspicious robberies involving military vehicles. As a result, the authorities had been closely monitoring the gang, waiting for them to make their move. On the day of the raid, the police were already in place. As the gang made their way to the diamonds, they were met with a surprising force: undercover officers disguised as dome workers. The police sprang into action, and before the gang could even lay a finger on the Millennium Star, they were arrested on the spot. The raid ended as quickly as it had begun, but not in the way the robbers had hoped. Instead of a successful heist, they found themselves in handcuffs, their plan completely foiled. The gang members were sentenced to long prison terms, their dreams of a multi-million-dollar payday shattered. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video. See you in the next.